Carpentry and antiques are my passions. Through the years, I have amassed various collections as well as useful woodworking skills. I have learned that just by keeping your eyes open while earning a living, you can learn a lot. I'm always looking for ways to do things differently and deviate from what's conventional. Join me on a journey of education and entertainment through projects and adventures. My name is Tischler, and welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to break flat stock metal on an aluminum brake like this one here. I've got a couple different projects that involve breaking metal, so you'll see a couple different sites here. So I guess the first thing, I'll just go over a little bit about my metal brake. This is a Van Mark Mark 1 series. It's not, well, it's kind of an entry-level brake in the higher brakes. They make smaller, like trimmer brakes and stuff they call them, which aren't full handle operation, but they just have a smaller clamp at the end there. But I mean, this works good as any other one pretty much. So it's a 14-inch throat depth. They make, like, the Metal Master 20 has a 20-inch throat depth, which would be nice, but make this work. And this is the contractor model. They also make a commercial model which has several more castings. This has 5 castings. This here is called a casting. But yeah, this is good for breaking aluminum. High tensile steel, it just doesn't have enough castings to hold it down. It'll tend to slip in the jaw if you try and break like a 10-foot piece of steel. The Metal Master 20 is better for that. And this is a trim cutter. So basically this rides, you start it down at this end, and these wheels here just hook onto these guide rails, and it rolls along and cuts your metal exactly 1.5 inches away from this bending point on the jaw, so you can get an accurate measurement and cut it. And the other thing, I just put these legs on it so I could use it as a portable brake, take it to the job site or whatever. They're just, you know, your standard table leg that you buy at any hardware store. And then in order to keep it from flipping, just because it's so tippy on these legs, like, you probably, if you had a 10-foot piece of metal, you wouldn't even put a crease in it before you flipped the brake. But I came up with this stand idea. This is inspired by the stand on the industrial Metal Master 20. It's just a foot stand that clips onto the legs with these pins that I drilled through, and it works really well actually. I think I just want to add another 2x10 in here just because it feels a little far away sometimes. I find I'm tending to put at least 1 foot down there just to get a little closer. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I guess I could go over the function. So it's got these wedges here and these cams. They're offset circle, and they, when you pull the handle back, it gets less of a space in there, and there's a spring somewhere in there that it lifts the jaw open, and when you push this bar back, it closes it, and then this bar bends that piece up, which bends your metal. So that's basically how that works. I'll show you how I break some metal now. So on this particular one, I'm making standing seam metal roof panels, and the first step to this is the blanks are going to be a foot wide, and the coil comes in 2 feet wide. So first step is to cut it in half. So I'll show you how I do that with the trim cutter attachment that comes with this Van Mark 1 brake. So the first thing you do to use the trim cutter is you have to put the metal 1.5 inches out from this point, which is where it cuts from. So it cuts 1.5 inches from here. So if I want a 1 foot blank, I measure out 13.5 inches. Close the brake down tight, take the trim cutter, and it just hooks onto the rails like this. And you just push it through. And there I have my 1 foot blanks. So now I'll show you a few of the different bends that are involved in making these metal panels. So the first and simplest bend, I guess, is called a hem, and that just folds over the edge of the metal to create a softer edge so it's not so sharp. So you start by using the end of the bending portion as a gauge. That's 3/4 of an inch, and you just line it up with your fingers and then pull the handle to a full 150 degrees, which is what that is. Take it out, close the brake, put it in like this, and finish off the bend, and that folds over the edge of the metal to create a nice round soft edge that you're not going to cut yourself on. And the next one that's involved, this is basically just bends and hems for this one. It's fairly simple. The next job will have a few different bends. So now I pull this out to 1 inch. That to a full 150. And then I just line up where that other hem is. Just bend that to a 90, and that creates a little recess in there to capture the next bend I'm going to do. And this is just a 3/4 inch bend to fit nicely underneath the 1 inch recess. That goes to a 90, and that's one of these standing seam roof panels. So now I'm breaking the flashings that will cover the edge of the plywood, and I'm starting with what's called a reverse hem, and what that does is folds the metal over backwards, and then if any water gets up in there, it'll hit this reverse hem and not be able to go any further than that. So that will go on the corner, or the edges of the plywood, I should say. So I cut my blank at 4 1/4, and then I'll just do the same type of bend I did for the other ones. And then I'll give myself just a little bit of room here. I think I'll go just a 1/16 over 3/4, just so it's not too tight to slide on there. Now that will slide over that last little rib and capture the bottom of the plywood. Now the top piece, to cap that piece off that doesn't open. I think I made this 16 inches long. And I'll just hem this as far back as I can get it, I guess. Yeah, I'll hem it right there. And the reason I'm going such a big hem on here, one, is because I can't fit it any further back into the throat. And I'm gonna go 2 inches on this bend. And just because the lid is gonna lift up on this a bit, I don't want any white to be showing. So you might be able to see underneath it a little bit. So if it's all aluminum, it'll look a lot better. Go 1 inch on here so it clears all the standing seams. 1/16 more than 1 inch. Now I'll just have to get my measurement for how far back. So I'll go 7 inches back from this point here. I'm gonna bend this a little more than a 90. Well, quite a bit more than a 90. Just because the roof is a 412 pitch. So it needs to come down the other side. That's a little bit much, but I'll be able to flex it into place. Here I'm going to show you how to break a capping that'll go over a 2x2. So I start with a ham on either side just to keep things clean. Then I'll measure out 1 3/4 inches, because that's how far the 2x2 stands out. And that to a 90. And then measure out 1.5 inches, which is the width of the 2x2. It just a 30-second bigger so it slips over easily. Bend that just a little more than a 90 so it goes on there nice and tight. And there's your capping. So you spread this and then there's some tension holding it on so it can just be a friction fit and you don't really have to use any fasteners. So for this piece, this will be like a capping that will hook underneath on the edge of a board, basically to cap a 1x4. So bend the bottom edge up at a 90. Actually, I'll start at the top, it'll be easier. Another 3/4 inch bend. And then just measure 3 inches to hook onto the bottom. 3 1/16 I'll go. Give me some room. And there's a chunk that will cap over top of a 1x4. So I'll show you the complete step that I do to break a piece. So for this particular piece, I need 13 1/4 sticking out, which is 1.5 inches past what I actually need. Start with the top bend just so I don't make it too big. And then the bottom I'll Make that just a tiny bit less than 3/4. Now I need to go 10 1/4. Big ones kind of move back and forth on you in the brake, so you have to keep checking each side until you got it nice. And there's the bottom piece for the deck. Now this is kind of a trick I use sometimes to create bends in a piece going the wrong way. The hand seamers would work, but the brake always makes nicer bends than the seamers. And I just want to do this because it's pretty visible and I want it to look nice. So this is almost a 2-person job on a piece this length, but we're gonna try this. I've got this bend to make. So that's how you can do some bends going the wrong way on the brake. So I hope you enjoyed that video on how to brake metal. I might do another one sometime when I have more metal to brake, but this will just be a short one for now. So thanks for watching.